Okay, what's going on? What's going on? Today I'm gonna be going over the USD major pairs, and I'm gonna go over today's price action. What I mean by today, so yesterday at market open to today going through London and New York session. I'm gonna start with the DXY, which stands for the dollar index. It represents the dollar, and I'm gonna work my way down through all of the majors, in addition to gold and SPX as well, SPX 500. All right, so if we start, like I said, from yesterday's market open. So overall, I can see that we are in the start of, start of bullish structure needs this supply zone to hold. So pretty much right here, as price begins to make higher highs, this eventually is going to turn into the lowest point in the market. So as I can see that the MACD is starting to gain, right? Came up here, tried to cross the histogram right here, but rejected. Now it's actively crossing through the histogram. As it actively crosses through the histogram, I can see price start to make some highs. But overall, we are still in a downtrend. So I'm still majority looking for sales until my last previous structure point can hold. So as we continue to go, price is rebouncing off of my 100 EMA. It even retests it and closes above even higher. Tries to goes up to that 200 but gets rejected. And now we have a closure back beneath the 50 EMA. For me, I like to enter in the market whenever the price cross and retest the 50 EMA. So I have this red box right here. Usually it'd be yellow, but it was red because it got engulfed. These three red counters right here would have been my entry, well, signal for entry. And this would be rejected. I mean, this would get canceled as soon as it got engulfed by this bullish candle right here. So I'm no longer in the sell. But as you can see, price starts to continue to make its lower lows. And as price makes its lower lows, I have this Fibonacci tool right here. And I see price starting to supply out of that. So like I said, I want this supply zone to hold right here. And I'm waiting for this weak bearish continuation that is still trying to sell off to be done. Okay. So as price makes its lower lows, as it continues to move lower, I ultimately would like to see it come down to the 786, maybe this 88.6 area region, and supply out of that. If not, price can continue to break this low and price will continue to drop. That's the dollar index. Next is the euro to the dollar. Okay, so price picked up bearish momentum right here, pull back up, and I'm going to continue to replay. From yesterday's market open. All right, so we're in an overall bullish structure, uptrend. Right here, I have my MACD cross, so I can expect the bearish momentum to pick up, turn back blue right here, and then it crossed again right here. When it crossed again, price picked up its bearish momentum and continued to reverse in the opposite trend. So price is right now playing over my 100 EMA. It even rejected lower to the 200. And then it tried to supply its way out of that. Got a MACD cross. I can see bullish momentum is picking up. And then right here, if you see right here how price tried to close above right here, like I said, every time price breaks and retests the 50, which is my black line, I look to enter into the market. But right here, the same thing that we saw in the dollar index, it rejected. The same time, same everything. It rejected right here. It also rejected on the dollar. So I have to wait. My entry got canceled, so I wait for price to turn back around again, maybe give me another potential setup. You can see price came down lower right here and then held the supply, this 200 EMA supply. We're still making highs on the MACD, so I can expect the bullish momentum to continue to rise. But overall, price is consolidating. As you can see by this bubble right here, price is consolidating. It has not broken this high and it's not breaking this low. So what I would like to see is for price to do either or. Which one it does, I preferably do not care. But as we can see, the EMAs, the MACD is telling me it's bullish momentum. The structure overall is still bullish. So anytime I get a pullback like this and then continues up, I can be expecting bullish momentum to continue. So overall, I would say I'm long on the euro. British pound made a nice move this morning. We go back at the start of yesterday's open. Overall, in a bullish structure, okay? And as you can see from my note, all right, I want for price is still overall bullish, even though MACD is showing you some bearish momentum is in there. But I need for price to break and retest this zone. Reason being, after it bought up, it retested back below. It pulled back, but as it pulled back, it didn't pull back deep enough into my EMAs. So it's telling me that there's still bullish momentum left and it's not done. So in order for me to get in the trade, I'm not a break trader. I'm a break and retest. So I like for price to come back twice. So as you can see right here, right, price picked up its bearish momentum. So it's going lower. It's going lower. The red candles are getting stronger. They're getting bigger. Cross the 50 EMA. Once we cross this 50 EMA, price is now in a reversal. Okay. So until we get anything else, we're in a reversal. Price is still reversing, as you can see right here. We now have a bullish MACD cross, so I can see bullish momentum is now starting to pick back up again. And then right here within these next few candles, I can see I have my closure above my 50 EMA. Whenever I get closure above the 50 EMA, I like to take those as entries. So at this zone right here, when I say zone, I just mean area where my yellow boxes are. My yellow boxes are my entry candles. Price begins to make higher highs from there. And you're now above the histogram as well. So now I know that the momentum and the trend is bullish. Notice how price closed above this blue line that I needed to. And if I were to go in a lower time frame, I can see, like I'm gonna go to the 1 minute. I can see price did what? It pushed up, rejected this. So it showed me that there's some type of liquidity in here. Came back, retested my 50 EMA, and then went about this day. Okay, so it did retest on a lower time frame. I'm on a low time frame already at 15. So you have to be aware of all the time frames that you are marking up and going from. Nonetheless, price went up 50-ish pips and is still currently active and is floating. Which is pretty nice, all right? Pound moved pretty nice this morning. The Australian dollar is kind of making some highs. It's trying to because of gold. Gold is beginning to become a little bit more stronger, and that's affecting the Australia currency overall. So if you look at what happened yesterday, right, overall bullish structure, and I need for price to break and retest, BNR stands for break and retest this previous structure. Price is not necessarily consolidating, but it is making higher lows, but the higher highs are not being broken. So because I have this divergent MACD right here, it's telling me that the bearish is picking up momentum, but it's not making any lower lows. So what I like to do here is simple BNR, break and retest. Need for price to break this blue line and then retest like it did. And then this blue line specifically right here is I marked as my entry candle because it closed above that blue line. And then this solid blue line is the closure of this 1645 candle. And you can see price broke it, retested that line as well, and then it went up. Right, so nonetheless, from my entry where this blue solid line is, price went up 27 pips. Right, price went up 27-ish pips, and then it rejected lower. It finally picked up this bearish momentum that it had been stacking all this time. So as price is now in a reversal because it's now broken my 50 EMA and it's now playing off of these EMAs, I can expect to wait for it to move. I need it to at least break above my 50 EMA and then close back it down again if I want to get in for a sell. Otherwise, the bearish momentum is just moving down. And I'm okay with that. So price tried to continue lower right here. Price tried to close beneath my 200 EMA, which is these orange dotted lines, but it got rejected. It actually got engulfed as it was rejected. So that's telling me that price wants to go lower, but the bearish momentum isn't strong enough now. So it has to try again later. So price moves on up, picks up back bullish momentum again. It crosses the MACD, and it's now trying to close above the 50 EMA. So I can see the bullish is starting to get stronger again. The buys are gaining more control. Now, if you see right here, I have some closures that is not touching the 50 EMA and then rejects to the downside. After it rejects to the downside, it touches this fib supply right here, the 618 and 71 supply zone, and then continues on with the trend. Now you can see we're also above the histogram as well. Okay, and this blue solid line is my entry line, and that is where I'm currently actively in this trade and waiting for it to continue to make its highs. Nonetheless, it did break and retest my 50 and even gave me a fib supply zone. So I am trying to go long on the Australian dollar. The New Zealand dollar, I believe it made some movements, but it's very weak right now. It's not making the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar is already overall kind of weaker compared to the other majors, but nonetheless, it's still moving. So this trade right here went for around, looks like 15 pips and then got rejected. Overall bullish structure, right? We can see divergence, mad divergence on the MACD. What divergence is, for what you don't know, is divergence is whenever the indicator does, your price is, indicator is showing you a different reaction than the price. So you can see if I just drew that arrow down here, price is beginning to become bearish on the MACD. But overall, current price action is bullish. So my MACD is telling me one thing and price is telling me another. So the MACD is just giving me an indication that there could be a possibility of a sell because the bearish momentum could pick up, as it did. Price finally picked up bearish momentum, closed beneath my 200 EMA, signifying a complete trend shift. And now if I would like to get in for some short positions, I would need price to pull back. So price is pulling back, price is pulling back. And I would like for it to at least touch my 50 EMA, or if not, close above. You see how it's touching it, okay? It tried to close above, but it rejected. And you can see how price is just playing off of this area right now. It's showing you that the bearish momentum is trying to pick up. But nonetheless, we do have a bullish MACD crossing. Price is now above the histogram as well. So the New Zealand dollar could very much as well continue to rally up to the upside. Or it could fake you up, could go to the upside and then reject lower. I have to wait for price to tell us what's up. Okay, moving on to your US dollar XXX pairs, USDCAD. Okay, so I'll wind this back. Overall, in a bearish structure, okay, price is making those lower lows. This trade yesterday happened around 3 times. If this was my entry candle, price broke, retested that same entry area, dropped again, retested that same area, dropped again, but it's also consolidating. So if I wanted to get in on the break, I would have to wait for price to close beneath here, as it did. And let's see what happens after that. So like I said, we're overall in a bearish market right now. The prices continue with lower and lower and lower. And I can expect so until I at least get a bullish MACD. So we got some bullish MACD, got the cross, came through the histogram, and it's continuing to pull back higher and higher and higher. But overall, we're in a bearish market, so I'm waiting for a sell opportunity to come. And as you can see, price closed above the 200 EMA right here, came up to the 618 fib rejection area, and then rejected heavily. Actually broke and retested and rejected twice. And this would have been my entry candle as soon as price closed beneath the EMAs again, and price continued to move lower. So lower time frame, it still has a little bit of bullish structure, but this, as soon as this low right here is broken, this low and this low was broken, that lower time frame structure was broken. It was broken. And actually took out the liquidity that was lined up right here. So that's how this trade was activated. And as you can see, as the dollar begins to gain its strength back, USDCAD is trying to pull back as well. USD Swiss, this is a nice little, I wouldn't say small setup. It was very, if your eyes caught it. So yesterday I was trying to sell the USDCHF, but it got engulfed. And as it got engulfed, this blue solid line right here, notice how price came back to where exactly where I would have sold the market at. It came back and bought off of that area. So it's a pretty cool strategy that I like to use sometimes. Overall, price continued up to the upside. And this fib rejection right here is the zone from this previous high. Notice how it reacts when price comes up here into the zone. It fed off right here, broken, retested, pulled back again, and then continued to fall. Got your entry candle closure beneath the 50 EMA, and price continued to drop. So this is a nice little London session sell. Actually, it was very nice in my opinion. It's moved around 45 pips, which is decent. And now price is continuing to move along in this channel. You can see we have a bullish MACD cross. So the bullish momentum is starting to pick back up again. But overall, we're still in this downtrend. So I'm continuing to look for sales if it presents itself. Next, we have UJ. UJ played pretty okay. Like UJ is very, 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 very overextended, okay, which means it's been selling for a long time. So I'm looking on UJ as well as the dollar overall to show some type of at least pullback, not even a reversal, but at least a pullback. Okay, so price is continuing its lows. It broke through the MACD and the histogram again, but then it came back. So it pulled back and it came in this fib projection area. Notice how it's playing off the 50. Got two engulfings. Okay, more engulfings. Price pulled back up. It's pulling. Notice how we got this MACD cross showing me bearish momentum is picking up. and then prices continued to fall. Price even retested back to your entry and then sold off again. So I like the sales that happened on all the USD XXX pairs. They weren't necessarily fast, but the structure was correct. And now, as you can see, as we have this MACD cross, prices beginning to pull back. Next is gold. Okay, gold is at some all-time highs right now. So gold is pretty much on this free ball. You have no idea what it's doing. But yesterday's price action, it got you in this ascending channel. And I wanted for price to break the consolidation channel. It's not necessarily consolidating because it is making higher lows, but the highs aren't being broken. So nonetheless, I'm waiting for price to break. The good old BNR can never go fail. Can never go wrong. So as price continues to break this structure, now notice how it broke this structure right here. And didn't give you a retest, it dojied out. That means bears tried to pick up, but although nonetheless it continued up higher, making its highs. Then price dipped back down into the EMAs and then continued to pull back even lower. As price continued to lower, look at the MACD. You can see we got across and through the histogram. Price did not close beneath the 200 EMA. It got rejected, which means there's still bullish supply in here. Bullish supply to this zone. Still bullish, mad strength in the bullish. Now we're above the histogram. Bullish is in the control. This trade is currently active right now and is playing off of my entry zone, which is the closures above the 50 EMA. So I'm long on gold right now. I'm not necessarily long, very long, because we're at all-time highs. There's no previous structure to qualify from. But nonetheless, I'm still very bullish on gold. And the last USD major that we're going to go over is the S&P 500. Okay, so ever since last week, it started to lose its momentum. This is all one big consolidation to me. We start from yesterday, right? You see we had a closure above my 200 EMA right here, signifying a trend shift. So in order for me to get in for a buy, I need the price to at least pull back and give me a chance to get in. So as you can see, price never really did fully pull back. It just continued. It broke the trend and then just continued higher. But notice after it continued higher, it hit this 1.13 fib rejection area. That's an extension zone, if you guys don't know what that means. So if the 1 was 100% of the move, it moved 113% and then rejected off. So no, instead of, I would be looking for buys if it would have rejected this fib and then continued higher. But instead of doing that, it did these little 3 very small bullish dojis and then continued lower. So that's telling me that whatever bullish strength that it just picked up, it no longer has. And the last week, continue. And what I'm waiting for is a closure beneath my EMAs, which is what we have here. Price even pulled back and then it's now trying to attempt to go lower. It's trying, but it's not. We got a bullish MACD cross and it's now even crossing through the histogram. So to be in reality, price is overall still consolidating, but in this consolidation, we now have structure to identify from. So it looks to me like it, according to the MACD, it still wants to make this bullish trend, but we have to wait and see. Nonetheless, I went to break and retest in either direction. Which one, I necessarily don't care, as long as it gives me a pullback to get in. So these are all the majors that I have so far. And mainly on the dollar, to be specific, I would like to see it at least pull back somewhat before continuing lower, because if not, it's just going to continue slowly. I want some nice momentum pickup. I want it to pick up and really do something. So thank you guys for watching this analysis. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment below and enjoy your day. Peace.